win.
Yeah.
Woo!
Good job.
1, 2, 3, 4.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the outro, as we're calling it, for episode 74. So welcome back. It is Thursday, and we got some pretty cool, epic people on. One of them has an awesome name. So let's introduce them and talk a little about Reach the Beach. So first, I'm looking at Eric E2 Salvich something. Anyways, I'm happy that you stuck with the E2. And we'll get into E1 and E2, but you kept E2, and I think that shows a sign of respect. And I appreciate it.
No, we didn't. You got
No,
replaced.
just a fan of you give me a nickname, I'll stick to it.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of rude for someone to take away a nickname they gave you, right? We'll get into that.
They were trying to upgrade me to E1. I don't know.
I know. Who would do that? That just sounds. I know it's not you, and I know it's not Denise. So I'm looking at a couple others.
E2 / the new Eric is also tentatively in for next year. So
He has gamophobia like me. I saw that because he has kids just like me, and he might have more kids I'll learn about. But let me paint the picture here. We have, I don't think we've ever had this many people on the pod at once. We have Eric, the new Eric, E2. We have Karen, and we have our first ever podcast guest we've ever had, the amazing Denise. What's up, everybody? Thanks for coming on for, as we're calling it, the outro. And let's talk a little bit about Reach the Beach. So, Erika, since you were with them all week, tell the listeners a little bit about what we're doing and these lovely people we have. I'm going to sit back and listen.
You guys, we just had an absolutely epic weekend. We all were the Ultra Penguins, and we have waddled our way from Attitash up and around to, I guess, the Hampton area? Because it wasn't quite the beach, but we waddled ourselves 200-ish miles during the Reach the Beach relay. And I have to say, I had the most amazing team, and I'm so happy that we got to welcome a few of the members. I mean, we're missing Jay and Rachel, but yeah, we had an excellent time. So I'm excited to hear about how they thought it went. And I mean, for a lot of us, this was our first Reach the Beach Ultra. So that was an experience in itself.
but for Eric and Denise, it was their first Reach the Beach ever.
That is true.
Let's start with Karen. Maybe we should change it to Reach the High School. But Karen, how was this team born? You were like the first ingredient of
She's
this
the
team.
captain.
You and Erika kind of got this started.
So last year, we had such a great time in our van from our 12-person Reach the Beach team that we decided, hey, why don't we do an ultra? And Erika and I have been upping our miles, and all of a sudden it was Jay was in, you were in. We had to find another Eric to replace you after you left.
Actually, Denise replaced me.
I know.
We'll get into that.
Valid.
But it was we have enough of a crew. We might as well sign up as an ultra team and see what happens.
So, Erika, tell everyone about the Penguins, because the Penguins are a lot of people now. It's not just 12. It's like 30-something people on Facebook. You've had over 30 different Penguins, and I think the thought was you can still do a 12-person Penguin team and a 6.
Exactly. So the Penguins have been around for quite a while. We started our first regular 12-person team back in 2016, I believe. I was one of the OG members, and depending on the year, some people couldn't do it, so we would have to find new Penguins, and that's kind of how it spiraled out of control. And this year, we did actually find that we could have a 12-person team and an ultra team. So it was really fun to have so many Penguin teams out there on the course. What was nice is that the Penguins are like a staple of Reach the Beach. People love us. I mean, I think they love us. I hope they love us. But like, we go all out with our decorations. We are loud and obnoxious, but in a good way. And we were bringing the spirit. So I think we have a lot of fans out there at Reach the Beach. So, yep. We were very happy to be able to incorporate more penguins this year. The more the merrier.
So the team originally, Karen, was you, myself, and Erika, Jay, parent. We also had Rachel, and there was a 6-person.
Jen.
Oh my God, who?
So originally it was Jen, but she had
No, but it was 7. It was originally 7 people because we had an extra, and you were going to drive, Karen.
Jay's friend also
That's
had
right.
expressed interest. So we ended up in a situation where we
Too
always,
many penguins.
with the penguin teams, too many penguins. So we always throw it out to previous penguins first. And after I had thrown it out to previous penguins, Rachel had responded almost immediately. So she was in. And then a couple days later, Jen responded. And that was after Jay had invited his friend in. And so then there was a little bit of a, well, who gets to go? And I realized that when you ask for commitments early in the year, December-ish, most likely someone is going to drop. So I was like, you know what? This isn't an issue. It's an ultra team. Let me put myself in a driver's seat. And when someone drops, I'll take that spot. We'll figure it out. Everything will be fine.
Mm-hmm.
So that is exactly what we did. And of course, we lost a few people on the way, which is what opened the door for Eric and Denise to jump in, which they were amazing additions to the team.
Mm-hmm. We would not have gone as fast as we did if it weren't for you guys. Honestly, you smoked that course. How you did it, I don't know, but it was wonderful.
So Jen realized she double booked, and she had a marathon the same weekend. So she backed out. There, insert you, Karen, you're in. Couple things happened. One, kids. But my backup plan, or my plan was, Mom and Dad, can you help me with the kids? Guess what? They told me they were going camping that weekend. So I'm like, well, I can't do this then because they're going camping. Turns out they canceled the camping trip because of this hurricane that was coming. But I would have known that the week of. So I backed out, and I want to tell you a little story. Eric, this is new for you. You probably never heard this, but Denise and I, we go way back to high school. But Erika was like, Eric, you're not cool enough for the Penguins one year. So I started a Reach the Beach team like 4 years ago with a college friend, and we called ourselves the Leopard Seals. And the deal was, I will find a van, enough people for a van, and she will. Well, Denise was on my team, and I had other friends on my team. But COVID happens, and the race gets canceled. So our team captain emails us and says, do we want our money back or do we want to defer? Denise, all of us said, let's defer, right? So we deferred. 8 months later, emails, phone calls, text messages. Guys, respond. Who are we still doing this? Silence. Radio silence from the other team or the other half. Turned out there was this little love triangle, this little group orgy thing that happened. And then like someone got mad and they're like, I'm not running with you anymore. And they never spoke to each other again.
Wow.
And our team just weeks before, we're like, we're not doing the race. And we all lost money. I mean, we all lost our fee, not the van and the hotels or any of that. But so when I knew I couldn't do this race, I said, I'm calling Denise. And I'm having her take my spot because I felt so bad. Denise, how bad did I feel that my friends lost out on not just not doing Reach the Beach, but their money?
Yeah, you felt pretty bad, but I mean, you definitely made up for it with this ultra team for sure. I definitely got my money's worth.
You guys couldn't have done an ultra back after COVID?
Mm.
Sounds like you had 6 in one van, right?
Well, we did, but we had this one guy named Jay Parent, and he just wasn't up for it. It was Jay bailed, and you know what? He's not here to defend himself. I don't care. So
That's awesome.
But then, Eric, how did you? So that's how Denise got on the team. Eric, how did you get on the team? How did this happen?
This is actually kind of comical. So I go to the gym with Karen. I see her on a regular basis, and I've been known to sign up for races sort of last minute or do some challenging things with little to no preparation. And I told Karen early on in the year, she's telling me about the Reach the Beach Ultra team. I said, oh, that's a great race. I'd love to do that race. And I'd always want to do it on an ultra team instead of a 12-person team. Like, that sounds awesome. This is like a 17-second conversation. I go, if someone backs out, let me know. Time goes by. I think it was August 18th. Maybe like the last day you could sign up for, like, they were closing the registration for Reach
Not
the
that
Beach.
he was tracking it.
No, but when I went on the website and it was like, this is the last day to sign up, after you're going, hey, so you going to sign up? So you going to sign up? So basically Karen says, hey, do you want to run an ultra in 2 weeks? And I said, yes, of course I do. The funnier thing about that is I had engagements this weekend, some prior commitments.
did.
I was going to a wedding. And I made it like clear early on that, guys, like, I'll do this race, but I'm not going to be able to finish with the team. After my last leg, I'm going to have to get picked up and leave. And that was an interesting experience, going from ultra to wedding with zero sleep.
That answers my question.
It
I was
wasn't
gonna
your
see if you
wedding.
took a nap. No nap.
No nap. I literally had enough time to get home, shower, put a suit on, drive there, show up as the bride's walking down the aisle. It was perfect. Perfect timing.
You weren't in the wedding. You were just there. You just had to be in a seat, right? Didn't matter if you were passed out.
Yeah, once I was in the seat, we were good. There was not much dance floor happening that night.
That's awesome to hear how the two of you got on. I kind of had a big role in getting Denise. I'm so happy you got to do it because I felt so bad. And then Eric, you got to do it. Tell me about Reach the Beach. I'm going to be the listener on the pod here. I'm going to be listening to the podcast, and I want to hear how Reach the Beach went. And I want everything. Spare no details. Erika.
Well, I feel like we
Go.
need Jay for this because he was on a quest to get on the podcast somehow. And he was literally trying at one point to like have a code brown just so he could get on the podcast. So
Yet he was
He had a
trying
free-
so hard.
he had a
He's
free
not
ticket
here.
now. Yeah. So he's missing out. But I mean, I kind of want to delegate to the Penguins, and I want to find out if they thought I was too annoying in the van, how our decoration skills were, what we would do next year. I don't know. Like, you guys take it away.
I'll start off. This being my first experience. So, we get to Attitash, right? That was kind of a trip in itself. I met Karen maybe at like 1:30, 2 o'clock, 2:30 realistically by the time things kind of kicked off. So we had to drive an hour from where we live to pick the van up, which was in the opposite direction of the direction we had to go. And then we drove an hour back to pick the team up. And then we drove an hour and a half to Attitash, all in
And-
one big happy Penguin family.
Yep, you guys
And
had your
just
work
to
cut
throw
out for
this
you.
out there, we weren't even, at least I wasn't 100% confident that when we ended up in Scarborough, Maine, that there was going to be a van there for us. So this was my first experience with Turo. Our original van, we had gotten a camper van, and it had a bathroom on board. It had like couch areas, but the guy canceled a month ago. And so then we were left scrambling in terms of, well, every van in New Hampshire and the surrounding area has been rented. I found this 12-passenger van in Scarborough. And I was like, well, it's an hour away. I've never used Turo. We'll see what happens. And even a couple days before, I was sending Denise some of the reviews from this van. And I was like, Denise, we might be going into Portland and renting an SUV or a minivan. Luckily, that didn't happen. There were only a few cops when we showed up at the condo complex, not related to the van. But
Such an awkward experience getting out of the car, and there's like cops there dealing with another situation, and then Karen and I are snooping around this van looking for the keys.
But we got it. We picked up Denise in Maine because she lives in the Portland area, so we got her there, and then we continued on to get the rest of the team in Epping and head north. It was probably, when we left, it probably ended up being about a 5-hour travel day for Eric and I. So
Definitely a long day for you guys. Thank you for picking us up. We appreciate that. Let's just let's go into our packing skills, should we?
So the night before the race, I was planning on bringing like 1, maybe 2 pairs of shorts. Once I started getting into packing, and of course my race stuff is all over the place. I'm in this bin, this closet, this drawer. I get everything pulled together that I think I need. Thankfully, I packed a pair of shorts and a t-shirt for every run, down to the last t-shirt in my bag. So it was perfect. I take a picture of my bag and I send it to the group chat and I go, guys, I feel like I overpacked. And I think it was either Erika or Denise sent their stash. That's my bag there.
Yeah, that was mine
And
from
then,
before.
I felt instantly better once I saw some of the other piles of clothes.
I definitely was the one who has overpacked because, all right, if you're looking at this, underneath Alfredo, who is our inflatable mascot penguin, I have my duffel bag, and that thing was chock full of clothes because I had to do 6 different outfits, most of which I never wound up changing into. The orange bag is full of food. I have like a big bag of candy because you got to make some friends out there. And then like that white bag is full of shoes, like, and safety gear and stuff. But like the gray bin is full of the stuff for the van. I have another inflatable penguin, our other mascot that goes on the roof, Chili Billy. I mean, I had the Christmas lights and the not chalk markers, but everything for the van basically. So I'm bringing this giant ass thing, and everybody else is like, well, I have a backpack. I'm like, okay, more room for my stuff then.
The whole decorating the van thing was a unique experience. We're all waking up in the morning. I'm worried about getting coffee and a breakfast sandwich, and everyone's like, we're going to go decorate the van. I have no idea what that means. So
That's right.
there were multiple times I had to curb Eric's enthusiasm for breakfast, where I was like, calm down. We need to make sure that the van is set before you get food. Like, forget about coffee. Once that the van is set, we can go.
Tell them about
Now, some people decorated more than just a van, right? Erika,
I mean,
you do it.
those are my nails that we're looking at right there. I tried to get little penguin stickers to go on my nails so I could truly be Team Penguin.
absolutely adorable.
that's awesome.
See, that's Rachel's stuff, and she is probably equally as crazy about matching and outfits as me, except she actually did wear every one of those. I maybe changed 3 times, 4 times, and yeah, that's 6 whole outfits, like complete outfit changes. I was just too lazy, and I had to run like 2 hours every time.
Rachel's picture is the one that convinced me I was okay to bring 2 pairs of sunglasses, because I was just going to bring 1 pair, but apparently you need 3 pairs for a 30-hour race. So, but I think she wore all 3 pairs too. I'll give it to her.
Yep, they go with all the outfits. You gotta coordinate. Hashtag run matchy.
That was the first day. I think we were driving up, right?
I did warn both Eric and Denise of the matchy vibe that Erika and Rachel would bring to the team. So I warned them not to panic that they hadn't put as much thought into their outfit.
I learned it from
choices.
Rachel. I'm throwing her under the bus. She got me into it. But so from previous years of running Reach the Beach, I have accumulated an incredible amount of penguin clothing. Like, it's just penguin everything. And it usually will just sit in a bag until the next Reach the Beach. So I've got tank tops, long sleeves, whatever. And I'll just like pick a random one, match an outfit to it, slap it in a plastic, like a gallon-sized Ziploc bag, which is key for putting your stinky clothes back into so it doesn't contaminate the rest of your bag. But yeah, that's where that stems from. It's a lot of work.
Erika, I was going to ask you if you, is it like a sports jersey when you wear a penguin shirt at Reach the Beach? You just throw it back in the bin dirty?
No, I will wash it because although I did find, like, I haven't even unpacked, like I washed my dirty stuff, but I found more dirty stuff in the bag that I have yet to unpack. So I was like, shit, I didn't do quite as well as I usually do. But no, I don't have any superstitions like that. It all will go in the washing machine.
It's funny.
So again, this year, I don't think we mentioned yet, we had a different course than previous years. So this year, they couldn't get approval to go through Tamworth, and that's where they have, is it White Lake or I think it's White Lake. Does anybody know?
White Lake, yeah.
White Lake.
Yeah.
So they had to completely reroute the course. So usually we would start at Bretton Woods, work our way down. And this year we started at Attitash and had to kind of go up and around. So we went like up to Bretton Woods, like over to Cannon Mountain, down through like Thornton, Campton, Holderness. And then eventually we met up in Meredith, and that's where it met up with the original course. So that was a bit of a change this year, and it was kind of fun to see things you wouldn't normally see, like going in the opposite direction. We saw like pretty waterfalls, and I don't know, it was really fun to experience it that way. I don't know if it was hillier or not, but I think I enjoyed at least the beginning half of it. What about you guys?
I agree, I will say, and this is something that Denise and Eric wouldn't necessarily appreciate, but the White Lake stop was always one of my favorites on the original course. So
Agreed.
It's one of those things. Now, as an ultra team, we wouldn't have been able to appreciate it because with the 12-person team, the first van can really go there and just chill for an extended period of time. And as an ultra team, we wouldn't have gotten that experience anyway. So I really didn't miss it the way that I was afraid I would. And going in the reverse direction was a good change of scenery, I think.
I liked it.
I was gonna say, I think from my perspective, like not ever seeing the other course, especially being on the ultra team, like you almost don't even know where you are. Like it's what it seemed like. Like you were just in constant movement the whole time, doing something or going in the van or waiting for someone to come in or sleeping, or it just was, I had no idea where I was at any given point in time.
Denise, you had your feet up in the second row the majority of the race. Let me know when I'm going to run super fast. And other than that, I'm just the all-star player, so I'll be right here.
That's why I got the professional napping medal, right?
Yep, she did. We'll have to go into that after about like who got which medal, because there is like a story behind each of them. If I can, I think I brought it upstairs, but I'll have to go look and see if I can find them. But like each of them have like their own little thing on the back of like a team player kind of thing.
Why don't you take me to race morning? What time did you have to start at? Do you have like a 6 a.m. start? What time did you set the alarm to? Who was the first runner?
So Eric was the first runner because he had to get out of there for that wedding. So originally I was scheduled to be the first runner. When he agreed to join the team, I offered to switch my run to the Gap, which was the fifth runner, put him in that first spot so that he could get done first. Now, originally and I gave Eric very specific instructions to dog his pace when he put it into the app, because our 12-person team, we always wanted the earliest start time because we knew that we would fall behind. We knew that we were going to be pushing the boundary of when we could finish. Hadn't quite thought about it with the ultra team and the fact that everyone on the team could actually sustain sub 10-minute paces. And so when our start time came out, we were scheduled to start at 5 a.m. And I looked at...
That's brutal.
Oh, yeah. And it's earlier than they started in the past. And I looked at some of the stuff that they sent out, and they have hold times at each of the major exchanges. So every 6 legs is a major exchange because that's where you would transition vans. And they have hold times. And I looked at it, and with our realistic paces, we were going to be sitting there for an hour and a half before they would even let us back on the course. And that's if they let us back on the course at the time of the hold time being up. They can also institute a 1 or 2 hour penalty and hold you longer before they let you back on the course. And I was like, I don't really want to get up at 5 a.m. just to be told that we have to sit around and wait before we can run again. So I put in a request to update our start time, submitted a pacing calculator with more realistic paces, and luckily they did get back to us and they updated us from a 5 a.m. start time to 9:15. So we actually had a lot of time that morning that we normally don't have as Penguins.
You didn't need an Airbnb. You could have just left in the morning.
But we ended up with
You
an
guys
Airbnb.
lost money. You wasted
5
money
hours
on
of
an
driving.
Airbnb.
5 hours of driving.
5 hours of driving, exactly. Like we could have picked up the van, but we got an Airbnb right at Attitash. We had to roll out of beds, decorate the van. We did go and get breakfast so that we made sure that Eric wasn't hangry. And we still had time to spare to get to the start.
Can I just tell you that?
It was actually-
Go ahead.
I was going to say, it was kind of nice sleeping in Attitash, and at 5 a.m. you hear the megaphone going off and everyone cheering and letting the first teams go. And you're like, quiet down, quiet down.
I thought when I first heard the cheering, so the Airbnb that we had a downstairs and an upstairs, and Eric and Jay had a little bromance going on, so they were sharing the king size bed. And I was on a little couch up there. And when I first heard the cheering, I was like, why the hell are they watching sports videos right now? And I couldn't figure it out. And I was like, whatever, I'm still sleeping. It's fine. And then once that it was happening every 15 minutes, eventually I was like, oh, that's not them.
Makes sense. I just have to say that was the most clutch Airbnb because we literally, I have never had that good of a night's sleep before Reach the Beach before. I got probably 6.5 hours of sleep, which is way more sleep than usual. And we didn't have to worry about decorating the van the night before. There was just so much more time to have to ourselves and to relax a little bit. And that was just an epic decision on your part, Karen, as captain. I support that 100%. We should do it next year. Let's go.
I actually searched for Airbnb listings today after a few people confirmed that they would be up for it next year. I think that a lot of the rental units haven't been put up yet, so there wasn't much available, but we'll keep our eyes out.
Perfect.
Denise, what was your experience? What was going through your head? Because we talked about the packing photos, and your photo, you had the least amount of stuff you packed. And then Erika has all this crap, and we're talking Christmas lights and inflatables, and they're decorating the car. Like, what were you expecting? Because when I was there last year and they decorated the cars, the vans at 11 p.m., I was like, why are we doing this? Let's go to bed. What was going through your head watching all these experienced Ragnarians decorating a van and just going like nuts over it?
So even before that all happened, so we had this Facebook group chat and everyone's talking about chalk markers and, inflatables and penguin pajama pants and all these things. And I like put my little hand up and I was like, hey, a newbie here. Do I need to bring water? Like, asking for the necessities. So that was kind of funny. It's the little things, right? But overall, the decorating the van was super fun. That didn't surprise me as much. I kind of was expecting that to happen. I just wanted to make sure I had all the things I needed.
Denise is our new artist. So she took the lead role in chalk markers, decorations. It was amazing because it meant that I didn't have to do it.
But you volunteered to climb up on that roof for Chili Billy, so nobody else was going to do that.
I'm thinking of that sunset picture of Chili Billy there.
Beautiful.
Oh, what transition was that on? Is that in the group?
That was right before I was going to go on my long leg. That you were finishing up yours, and I was about to go on mine. So that was in what town was that? Thornton?
It was at a sugar shack. That's all
right.
I know.
Isn't it gorgeous?
There it is.
Oh, Chili Billy.
I knew Nui too would pull through.
Who does that? Who takes away a nickname? One, Eric. I was never E1. I never, and you don't pick your nicknames. They picked it for me. I'm Knute. I don't know. They all call me Knute, but apparently one day I became E1, and then they're like, no, he's no longer E1. He's E2. Who does that? I don't know. I don't know who does that. They're sketchy people. I wouldn't involve yourself with them.
I think we
But anyways, I digress.
delegated him the new nickname because he was beast moding the entire race, and we were like, this,
So give him a nickname, E-Beast. Call him E-Beast or something.
E-Beast.
We'll workshop the
E-Beast.
nicknames. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But
I think I'm just gonna keep E2, E squared. That's all good. Yeah, E-Beast.
here's the thing.
This could go in a weird direction.
Here's the thing. I'm not E1, but you are E2. No matter what, you're E2 now. I'm not E1, but you are not E1 either. You're E2.
E1, of course, would block me from becoming E1.
Hey, at least he spells his name right. I'll give him that too. I like this guy. I liked you from the moment I saw your name in the group chat. You spelled your name right. If it was wrong, I would have been like, nah, this guy can't take that dude's
what am
spot.
I, chopped
I
liver?
feel the
My
same
name
way.
is just wrong because I don't have a C in it. Thanks.
You're not Eric, though. You're Erika.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the proper spelling of Erika.
I will take that. Okay, you win.
Yeah. If your parents decided to name you Eric, we would have an issue. But they didn't. You're Erika. So.
All right, fair.
Let's get into the race and the legs. How'd everything go? Was it smooth? Was it rough? Were you guys like rushing to get to every transition, or were you like way on time? I know everyone must have had their phone on them because I kept getting, because I'm in the group chat, a message, 1 mile, 1 mile, 1 mile.
From all of
well,
the girls, not the guys.
Yeah, I did not take my phone, and I made it clear to the team that they will not have warning. So on my 5th run, when things were falling apart, maybe we can get into that as we go through our runs, they had no idea I was coming in very late.
What happened to him?
Yeah, so I had the first run, which was mostly trail. Ragnar put out a note saying if you were runner 1 to bring a pair of trail shoes, and I'm glad that I made that decision, because when I was packing my bag, I was like, well, it seems dumb to bring trail shoes for one run. I did decide to bring trail shoes, and almost a mile or 3/4 of a mile of the run was right along a riverbank, and it was super soft, like sand. It was almost like beach sand on the first leg there. So I'm glad I did that, because I got a bunch of sand kind of in the trail shoes, which would have made them, if they were road shoes, uncomfortable for the rest of the race. But that run went relatively smooth. I think I held the 7 and some change. Like 7:45. I'm not. I say 7 and change when really it should be like sub 8 and not rounding the other way. But
God, let me think it was a 7:03.
Yeah, we can keep things.
We gave you the overachiever medal for a reason.
It's funny because I have an endurance coach, and he commented. I have Training Peaks, so my runs were logging in there, and I didn't see any of his comments until after. But after my second leg, I was also sub 8 for about 3 miles, 2.9, and he commented being like, "You're in trouble." 60-40.
Oh, I was runner 2. So I got the handoff, and my first leg that I had to run was 10.7 miles long. So that was great.
Erika had
pumped.
all of the longest runs. Like, that wasn't even your
Definitely.
longest.
No, it wasn't. It was just like, hey, good morning. Have a 10.7 mile run. Enjoy. Those hills. Well, the hills weren't terrible, and I was fresh, and I mean, it was fine. This might be the only time that we kind of scrambled, because the kind of rite of passage thing that we do at Reach the Beach is take a group selfie at the Penguin Ski Club sign, and that's like, at this point, I had no idea where it would be in the course. And so I'm running. I'm like, oh, I just did like an 8:12 mile. This is great. And I was like, oh no, there it is. So the Penguin Ski Club sign came immediately into the run, a mile, just over a mile. So I
And
stopped.
while Erika was while Erika was figuring this out, I was also Googling because I knew, okay, that's where we're headed.
Mhm.
And I was Googling and I was like, oh shit, it's 1.3 miles away.
Yep.
And I figured that we weren't going to make it in time.
I had
But
no
then we
idea
got a
you
selfie
guys.
from Erika.
Yep. And then Rachel, that's Rachel's excellent photoshopping skills. I laughed so hard. I was like, I look like a freaking alien. I don't know. It's ridiculous, but
Actually, it looks like you took that selfie.
that's exactly how she
It really
planned it. And
does.
oh my god, she showed me and I was crying in the van. Like I was just laughing so hard. But she had to pick this one because otherwise my face would have blocked Jay. So Jay's like ducking behind Alfredo. Just like it's perfect. It's so perfect. And I had somebody comment, I think it might have been Tara. She's like, awesome selfie. And I was like, yeah, it'd be great if it was real. So I'm like, Rachel, that just goes to show how on point your photoshopping skills are, that nobody really noticed it wasn't a real selfie. I mean, you can tell if you kind of like zoom in a little bit more, but it's fine.
I think we need to go to like Sticker Mule and make this like a fat
No,
head.
don't
goes
do
to the
it.
wall.
No. I don't want that.
There were some teams this year that actually had their faces like on magnets printed out on their vans.
That was pretty cool, but I just don't want my face anywhere on that van. If you do like a little bit more, okay, cool, but oh boy, not my face.
Get ready. Get
Hold
ready.
on, guys. I'm looking up a magnet shop right now.
We're going to have it on the hood of the van
Yep.
next year or the back window.
But anyways, to conclude my leg, it went fine. I didn't die. The hills were fine. I think I did like a 9.5, 9:45 average, which over that distance is decent. And I handed it off to Jay, who can't defend himself. So
Who then handed it off
Jay
to
is
Rachel.
not here to
who
defend
also
himself.
isn't here, who handed it off to Karen.
So then we were on leg 5. Leg 5, it was 4 miles. I've done it the opposite direction before, and I think this one was a little bit more downhill, so nothing crazy. I ended at the Highland Center, which is always fun. But it was really just feeling out the legs, first time running on pavement for me since I think it was the Maine Coast Marathon.
Oh,
Is the
wow.
last time that I had run on pavement.
That was back in May.
Other than a few short stretches in Colorado. But it definitely, I was wearing the wrong shoes for the first leg. Luckily, I had brought my other ones, so I switched into those because it was just feeling it back out. My shins were a little angry and, made it work. But then I got to hand off to Denise.
Ooh, who got to run up Bretton Woods Mountain on the ski slope in sloppy, wet, tall grass.
It was her
got
favorite
lost.
run.
Yeah. It was my least favorite run. Got a little muddy. And I got
Were
to
you
the finish.
MFing me at that point for having you take my spot? Were you like, MF that?
Yeah. No.
He didn't
So
say
I-
I was climbing up a mountain.
Yeah, it just went straight up the ski slope and then down a steep road. So it was easy to bomb down, but again, very quad hurting. It was, I think, 1.7 miles of just angrying the quads in the first 1.7 miles of the whole journey.
Now,
So-
Denise, before you got lost, you made it to the top and made the turn, right? The penguins weren't cutting any corners here.
No, I didn't. I went too far up.
I was going to say,
Oh.
you added some
Yeah.
distance.
We are overachievers
Yeah,
as a
definitely
whole.
added distance.
Denise is actually.
Yeah, I was supposed to turn right, but there was no sign. So other people were ahead of me up on the mountain. So what do? When there's people ahead of you, you follow them. So there was like 5 of us that just
So
went
if they all
totally
jumped
course.
off a bridge, you would have jumped off too?
Apparently, yeah.
How did you all find out that you were not on course anymore, that you were extending your waddle?
Yeah, there was a guy that came up pretty fast behind us and was like, wait a minute, I'm too far up. Like, I think he just knew he was running for too long, I guess, at that point. pulled out his map, saw that the ski trail kind of, he knew where he was supposed to be going. Let's just put it that way, and got us back on course.
I feel like that's a thing for us. We were pretty underprepared as to where we were going the whole time. I mean, the running was fine for most of it, but the driving directions, we need to work with that.
And a lot of that, I think, was they changed the course within the last month. And I had made an effort to pull everything together, and I had a nice Google Doc that had all of the instructions that they had put together. And then I went to print it, and I thought that I had all of it. I only had it starting at like 17 printed off. I don't know where the other pages were. So what we're used to as penguins is Jessie puts together this beautiful binder, and it has pretty much everything that you could possibly want from a race perspective. And I couldn't compete with what she's done in the past. So Erika has taken on binder responsibilities.
Happy to do it.
Well, as much as I want to hear about every individual leg, I'm not going to let that happen.
Let me sum it up for you.
Like
Eric was
36
fast.
legs.
Jay was fast. Karen was fast. Denise was fast. Rachel was fast. I was not so fast. I held on.
You had the most miles.
I did my best. This ultra is no joke, you guys. Like, this thing was so hard between the no sleep and the driving everywhere and just trying to eat.
That's what I want to hear about.
Yeah.
All right,
tell me about van life. Tell me about food. Tell me about bathroom breaks. Tell me the good stuff.
What was that team name that was like, it was like Hammer the Potties. They had the toilet seats strung to the grill of the van. It was these two vans running around with toilet seats on. That was just so funny. Standard race day stuff. You can never really eat good. You're eating candy and goos and gummy bears, and after 30 hours, everyone's stomach is acting up. I think like when you got into the night, Erika, was it you? We're all trying to get 15 minutes of shut eye as we're waiting for a runner to come in, and Erika goes, "Hey, nobody hold it against me if I fart while I'm sleeping." And I'm sitting there in the front seat going, "Man, I really have to fart right now." Just like broke the silence. It was great.
I had to say it though, because have you ever been like on a plane and you're dozing off, but you're not laying down, like you're just sitting there? And I don't know, it's always my biggest fear that like a fart's gonna slip out. And being around so many people, I'm just like, oh my God, nobody wants that. So I was just like, I'm sorry if this happens. I gotta get some sort of sleep, which I barely did. But no farts. But I mean, that's the nature of the van and trying to get comfortable where you can. And it's not easy to do, except for Denise.
Yeah, the whole second row.
She was good,
the first
she did
day
try to offer it to people, but like I refuse. I'm like, I'll take your spot. Yeah, she was good.
I was nervous sitting on the end there with her feet kind of kicking me off the edge.
I got to shout out our friends, Jenna, Laura, and Lena.
Yes!
They were on a team, and they had a minivan. And I'm team minivan here, but they had the Chrysler that has the stow and go. And there's a picture of like 4 of them all lying down in sleeping bags, getting a good night's sleep. Little cuddle session. And I'm like, I think that's better. I have traveled across the country multiple times in 12 and 15 passenger vans, and they're awful. So I'm almost all for like, get a 15 passenger, take out all the rows except the last one.
I wouldn't be against that.
I have done Reach the Beach in a cargo van before. That was my first ever Reach the Beach. We had a cargo van, and it actually worked really well. We had like chairs in the back. We could put out an air mattress, that kind of thing. The challenge, I think, and I saw it this year, so obviously it still happens, but there is technically a rule that you have to have a seatbelt for every person on the team.
Safety first.
No, you have it. The back row of a 15 passenger van has 4 seatbelts, and then you have the driver's seat and the passenger seat. There's 5 and 6.
Brilliant.
Done. Brilliant.
loophole.
It's actually.
I mean,
yeah.
even a 12-person van where the seatbelt buckle would fold in
Oh
would be a
God.
huge increase from what we had, because our seatbelt buckles were rigid and they did not
Very.
bend in at all.
The worst. Can I just give a
Yeah.
quick shout out to Lena, Jenna, and Laura? They found me on my very last leg, and they like were cheering, and I it took me a minute to like recognize them, but like I saw Lena like pop out the like the passenger side window, and I was like, oh my God, it's you guys. They just like gave me a boost I needed to get through that last stupid leg of this race. So shout out to you guys. I was happy to see you.
What was it like? What was it like at nighttime? It's getting dark. You've been up for the day. You know, it's not like you've been up for 24 hours yet, but now you're getting into that part where, you know, you got to switch drivers. You got to get ready. You're not getting a big break. And it's now 2, 3, 4 in the morning. Who's driving? I know it wasn't Erika because she won't man up and drive one of those vans. You guys have to force that on her one year.
Nope.
Force it on her for one leg. But what was it like in the middle of the night, in the early hours of the morning?
I want to build on this for a minute and just say
About
during
Erika
the
not driving?
I wasn't the only
yes,
one.
we're talking about that. We're talking about how none of the girls drove
Karen
all night.
drove a
Well,
little
Karen
bit.
took a lot. No, Karen drove. Sorry, look at the face.
I let you sleep.
Yeah, you did let me sleep.
I told you to sleep.
If closing your eyes and hoping that you're alive when you open them because Karen's driving the van is sleep.
Did great.
I'm just saying, I know. I'm kidding. So
Just
Friday during
really
the day,
far away from everyone, and everything was fine.
it's a 2.5 mile run to transition. Where
Hey, what's a couple extra miles when you're doing 30 something?
So on Friday during the day, I'm so overly stimulated with all these magnets and chalk pens and the loud speaker and music and dance parties. And then the sun goes down and everything becomes much more real. We stopped marking our runs for the most part. The social media posts and pictures kind of go out the window. Everyone turns into survival mode. I think our team did a really good job of falling into your roles. By then, we kind of knew how the transition was going to go, who the next runner was, what they needed to do. So you're in the van and you're either trying to get some sleep, get ready to run, eat, fuel, go to the bathroom, eat chips while everyone else was trying to sleep.
Enjoy your pre-run snack.
That was the best
That was
thing.
so funny. And then it happened again. Denise was eating the granola bar at the next transition as she got ready. I'm just like, oh my God.
Next year, I'm going to bring earplugs for everybody. So if you want to sleep, pop them in. Then we'll give you a little tappy tap to wake you up when it's time to go. That's what's going to happen. Oh, I'm making
I think I
notes.
get deeper sleep listening to chip bags, so I'm going to opt out.
You know, this was just training for being a dad, Eric, because there will be cries, there will be everything that is so much worse than chip bags. So you're welcome.
Poop explosions.
Oh,
I need to pause. Eric, are you going to be a first-time dad?
First time dad, baby girl coming in January.
Oh, dude, congratulations.
Yeah,
Big
thank
time
you.
congrats. Girl dads, oh, girls are the best. My first was a girl. So I'm super jacked up for you. When you said January, right?
Yeah, it should be early January.
All right, let me tell you this. No problem you doing Reach the Beach next year. It'll work out. If you have a second baby, it's over.
Okay.
Baby number 2, it's over. You start juggling kids and it's like, I got to be here. You got to be there where we're going to be doing all this. You'll have, part of my gamophobia is real, but part of it's just, I don't know. But congrats on baby number 1 coming, man. That's huge. Can I give you one piece of advice?
I love it.
Do you have chest hair?
Well, I think every guy. What this? I wasn't expecting this. I mean, yeah, there's some chest hair, but we keep
Shave
it
your
trimmed
chest.
up. It's trimmed. Oh yeah,
There's
we're
nothing
clean.
to grab.
Shave your chest.
Yeah.
Shave your face. they're going to pull and grab. They're going to do, and it's just like, but you don't want to yell because you don't want to scare or frighten the baby. So you're more like,
Oh, okay, good to know.
yep,
Yeah.
that's my advice.
I won't
Congrats, man.
grow it
That's
out.
awesome.
I was thinking about growing out the chest hair this winter. I guess I won't do that.
So
If you're going to grow it out, you have to get yourself some fur oil, apparently.
So actually, now that I think about it, not only did you sign up for this race a few weeks ahead when you had a wedding to go to with your wife was pregnant. So you told a pregnant wife, hey, honey, I'm going to do Reach the Beach on the day of the wedding we have to go to.
No, it was better than that. I think Karen broke the news.
I did not actually break the news. I actually asked Eric after he had committed. I was like, wait a second, have you told Kate yet? And his answer was no. And I was like, oh, okay. Then I'm not going to say anything. Because we already knew that she thought it was a horrible idea. Now, Kate has done Reach the Beach before on a 12-person team. So she knows what it entails. And I was like, okay, you do you. Good luck.
She's used to this
Eric,
type of
you're a
behavior.
brave man, but you know what? You did it. You're an Eric. You're a cool dude. I love you.
Bonus
And-
You're going to be a great dad too, and you're going to love it.
And I will say, I actually did go up to Kate probably a week before the race. She was at the gym. Eric wasn't there. And I was like, Kate, I have to apologize. And she was like, for what? And I was like, for enabling your husband to make horrible life choices. And she was like, oh no, I'm actually really excited for him. Like, he's wanted to do Reach the Beach. He always wanted to do it on an ultra team. Like, I've done it before. I'm really excited. And it's his buddy's wedding anyway. Like, I don't care about the wedding. So that made me feel better.
I thought you were going to tell me you went to Kate and said, I'm real sorry. And she goes, about what? What did he do?
I'm going to get him in trouble.
Well, apparently love triangles happen at Reach the Beach. That's news to me tonight.
No,
I think
love,
it
love
wasn't.
triangles ruin
It
Reach
wasn't-
the Beach.
Yeah, it ruined it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It was in a running group, but I don't even know where it is. It was west of here. Not going to name any names.
I just blew someone's spot up who's going to listen to this.
By the way, you didn't trust me and you told Karen to do back.
I think I had good reason.
You
to
really did.
reach out
No,
to
you
Karen
really
and say,
did.
Karen, here's the password for the account. Well, if you want at any time, could you go and make posts? Karen did tell me that you were the one making the posts. I was like, okay, maybe Erika
I really
felt
did
some pressure
try.
to do it
Oh,
when I asked
some
Karen.
pressure. Yeah. No, I really did try because I don't know. I do let you down a lot when it comes to Instagram stuff, but
You did a great job, and let me tell you, it hit on Instagram and our insights and all our numbers. It did. It hit, and Ragnar shared everything that you posted, and you did a reel, and it hit. So it hit. Those weekends hit really
Good.
big on Instagram when we post things, and like Anchor Down hits huge. Remember that reel I made? Just like blah blah blah. Here's a
Yeah.
reel, 10K views in 24 hours.
it was funny
Like-
though. Like every time I would go to make a post, I'm like, I'm doing this for Eric. I'm doing it for Newt. Like,
Yes.
I hope he's happy with me. Because I was just
I
like,
loved it, and
we had no service
And
in a lot
I
of the places
noticed-
too. Like it was hard to keep up.
But I noticed when you guys got tired in the middle of the night that you stopped posting, but you kept sharing pictures in the group chat, and I just stole those, and I started to make the post myself.
Perfect. Let's-
And I like how
It all
you
worked
say, Eric benefits from this because I also benefited from it because I didn't make I took one 7-second video the entire race, which was the first transition I saw. That was it.
Let's talk about your photo, actually, because we have it.
Oh, yeah, my actual my
Tomorrow
photo.
on the pod.
Your one photo.
This is my one photo.
Well, the one I'm sharing is this one, which I actually thought was really funny.
Yeah, I took a
So-
selfie for Kate in the van. I don't know
This is
what
the one
hour at night
photo
that
we-
was.
So this is the one photo we took, and then I added like, oh, this can be our promo for it. And then I think Karen, you did the reality versus Instagram versus reality photo.
Yes.
That's gold.
That's perfect.
Yeah, that is great. That is great. It would only be a little better if it was like you half asleep drooling.
We could have.
Yeah, I think I'm sleeping in that picture.
with the Christmas lights and like Alfredo in the background just
We
chilling.
actually had several opportunities to take pictures of like Eric was in the driver's seat and Jay was in the passenger seat, and they both had like pillows just like curled up in the seats. Like we could have taken pictures from the outside, but I didn't think to do that. Respected your privacy a little bit.
Listen, I also felt really like I really wanted to get up there in the middle of the night and drive the van, and I really felt bad. But as we learned, kids and responsibilities, and you need to keep them fed, clothed, and with a clean diaper, and it just I couldn't do it. I knew midday.
I will say,
I
Eric,
did stop and I saw you for a minute.
you
That's
did.
true.
And Eric
Eric
and Jay
to-
did really well with taking on those responsibilities overnight. So
We're not.
Yeah, we
the
fell
rest
into
of us
some-
all
Absolutely.
appreciated them.
some good shifts. And Eric, and to clear your conscience, it worked really well because it only took 15 minutes in general to get to the next transition. Sometimes a little longer, sometimes a little less. And at transition, you have about 30 minutes to wait. That extra sleeping spot came in clutch because both the two front seats laid way back. So as soon as we pulled into transition, specifically driving through the nighttime, like whoever was in the cockpit per se, the navigator and the driver was basically left alone. They just kicked their seat back, got some shut eye. So having another person in the van actually would have maybe messed up the mojo. I mean, two Erics, one
Denise
space.
would have had less spot. Either that, or we would have had to
Yeah,
banish
take it out.
Alfredo to the back seat or something.
And I will say that is the other thing that worked well on our team is most of us were completely confident without regular van check-ins. And it would have been a lot harder the way that we've done it in the past with 2 or 3 check-ins with each runner along the course. That would have taken away so much of that sleeping time in terms of, well, if we can just go to the next transition, everyone can rest a little bit and we can figure it out from there.
Think party bus pulling into transition. You got the Christmas lights, like all this stuff. And then as soon as you back that van in, Christmas lights go down. You know, we
Chip
try
bags come
facing
out.
away from lights. Yeah, sleeping bags. The chip bags come out.
So good.
What were you eating and drinking besides chip bags? Were you like Red Bulls or just did you have water, Powerade? What were you
How
doing?
many coffees did
what
you
was
have
going
that
in?
day, Karen? Like, how many total
Ooh,
coffees did you
day
have?
Day one, I think I had at least 4, maybe 5. Day 2, I had at least 3. But I had some Oreos mixed in there. What actually?
We got pizza.
We got
Yes.
pizza. We
Shortly after
got
that sunset picture.
sandwiches.
Genius.
Gas station sandwiches. Those were
Gas
iffy.
station sandwiches, yeah.
I don't think anyone finished their full sandwich.
I
That
split
would've been a
Rachel.
bad
She
move.
gave me half of hers, so I was like, I'm gonna eat a sandwich. I don't care. A little soggy on the bottom, but it's food.
Erika, did you get your Biedermans?
No, because when we got to the leg that I was running, we would have finished. Like my finish point would have been at like Holderness, so it was like 9:00 at night. I don't think they were even open, and I was like,
oh yeah.
forget it. That's where the pizza came
No, they
into to
weren't.
play, and I was like, yes, I can get on board with pizza. I'll come up for Biedermans another time. But yeah, it was interesting trying to figure out what to do for food. But there were some pretty good like egg sandwiches here and there and along the way. Like those were clutch.
Yeah, we got egg sandwiches and Candia on Saturday
Denise,
morning.
I saw you had a cooler packed. What did you bring?
I brought some overnight oats. I made myself a pasta dinner, had a protein smoothie. I definitely did not bring enough food. I didn't plan for overnight food, like being hungry in the middle of the night, but we were still running. So, you just need meals every like 4 hours, which I definitely didn't plan accordingly, but we made it through.
Just stuff to remember for next year.
Nice.
That's the part that kind of messed me up. And I think next year would be a little different. When we got into the overnight hours, I convinced myself and thought of it as fact that I didn't really need to eat because I would normally be sleeping. figure that out.
Mistake.
But it sounded like a good idea. Yeah. So I didn't really eat much after my 1:45. I had a 1:45 a.m. Like 6 mile run, 5 and some change, something like that. And I finished that run like so amped up on a natural high. I was tired going into it, but we got out of the van and we would count our penguin passes. So every time you pass someone, you put a little tally mark on the van. And I had a 900-foot vert run. And on this run, it was like 900 feet up and 900 feet down. There was just so many passing opportunities. It's 2 a.m. Everybody's walking this hill, and it just fueled me to try to pass as many people as I can. And then on the downhill, I just let my legs do the work and just kind of use gravity. And then finishing that run, I was like super amped up, and then I didn't eat, and I paid for it on my 5th run. I don't know where I was going with the story.
A lot of people call them kills, but you guys just called them penguin passes.
I feel like that was
Ragnar-
frowned upon, right?
Ragnar
kills,
was
yeah.
very, very communicative of their expectations of vans being PG and family friendly, and there are lots of stops that are at schools. And so I got a lot of harassing text messages like no profanity on the vans, watch what you're putting on there. So we kept it PG. We still called them kills.
I would have called it a waddle by. You did penguins passes, but like flybys, I would have gone waddle by.
I think we did that last year. Was that what we called it? I'm pretty
so.
sure that was what we called them, but we went with penguin passes this year.
So you guys mentioned a couple times next year.
It's happening.
So next year's
we haven't signed up yet,
It's
but
happening.
I think it's going to happen.
I mean, we can do it right now.
And I think I saw all 6 of you are committed.
Rachel's
I have not yet.
I was going to say, I don't think I've seen Denise commit yet.
Denise, from what I heard, you're like the rock star. You're the fastest. You're the best. You're like the elite runner of the group. Like
That's a lot of pressure.
Come back
I don't think that's the case, but yeah.
She was very consistent and smiley and pleasant and overall awesome.
I think there's one video. I don't think it's in the group chat, but I saw it somewhere, and it pretty much summed up the Penguin weekend. It was Rachel coming in the dark, and she's just in her glow vest, and we knew her glow pattern. And she's running in, and we're like, "Penguin? Is that a penguin?" And she just yells, "Penguin!" And it's like this, I don't know, 10-second clip, but it was that really just summed up how the whole weekend went. Lots of yelling penguin.
Specifically, when the sun went down, you didn't really know who was coming into transition. So you're waiting for your runner to show up, and if you see like a female wearing a neon shirt, it could be Rachel. That there's 200 other runners out there, so we would yell penguin, and a lot of the times we didn't get a response, and it wasn't a penguin.
So a common theme for this though was, what were they wearing? I have no idea what they're wearing. I just saw them. What color shirt are they wearing? Like nobody could remember. I think Denise was the best at it though. But I was like, I literally just saw them. Have no idea. So that's where the penguin call definitely was useful for sure. Are you gonna? Is that a video?
Here we go. Here it is.
Penguin!
Yeah.
Woo!
Good job.
Oh, that makes me.
Oh, is that on
That's me.
Where was that? Was that on the Franconia Notch Rail Trail?
That was by Holderness School.
Yeah.
That was
Okay.
that was finishing my long leg. But literally we would be like, penguin, penguin, penguin. It was the best. It was so good.
And we had a megaphone.
The
Erika brought a
megaphone that I bought for the Boston Marathon, we brought it, and it was so much fun.
I
ordered one today.
Did you?
Yes.
Yes.
We
We're gonna
all
have two
need
next year.
megaphone. No, we all need a megaphone next
The best
year.
$13 you'll ever spend. I'm telling you, it's gonna pay for itself.
Inflation.
Oh,
I paid $17.22 for mine today.
sorry.
I will also say I might invest in a tambourine or two, because the team that had a tambourine on the course, it's a little more musical than a cowbell, I guess.
See, I'm
But I appreciate
rethinking.
it.
I'm rethinking some things to bring. As much as people love the wacky, wavy, inflatable tube guy, it's so much effort to do that, and it takes up so much space. I think I might just nix it next year. And
you do not let Brittany know that.
I mean, I'll still do the dance, but I might not bring the costume.
No,
I'm not
you
racing
have
next
to.
year. I'm not racing next year if you take
fine,
him out
it'll
of the van.
Or we
Brittany
have
heard
to
you say
have,
that.
or we have to have a craft day and make penguin wacky.
Danielle and I wanted to
Oh.
do this, and I'm like, it's easy. We'll just get black fabric, some white fabric in the middle. I think I still like the googly eyes, but yes, let's craft. I love crafts.
Perfect.
Well, it sounds awesome that you're going to do it next year. If anyone does back out, I just want to be the first call. I don't know if I can. I want to be the
Deal.
first call, and I'll see what I can finagle. But I'm probably out for a couple more years. But I want to hopefully be there or be a part of it. I had a lot of FOMO all weekend. I really missed out, and I'm super happy we did this like get together pod.
This was a blast. This really is one of my favorite weekends of the year. I mean, I look forward to it every year because it's such a great group of people. I mean, I know the other penguins. Actually, this year there were a lot of new penguins. I know that there's a couple penguins who were pregnant, so couldn't join, and just some injuries. Some other races came up, and so there's a lot of new penguins. But the penguin family is growing, and once a penguin, always a penguin.
Well, and if you guys have this team and I have the ability, I'll just jump on like Lena's team or Jenny Clark's team or someone else. So
do it.
There's one thing I think I don't missed out on: the high school finish.
Yeah.
Was that a downer or was that okay? I feel like Eric and Denise missed out on the beach that I got to experience last year.
Oh, they actually did miss out on the beach. We went to the beach after. We took some pictures, but it was a little bit of a bummer. Denise still got to run because she doubled up with Karen, so she still did 6 legs just like everybody else. And it was kind of sucky because it wasn't like the winds weren't as bad as they were expecting. But how are you supposed to know? Like, you have to do this in advance. You have to prep everybody. So
Oh wait. Was it supposed to end at the beach, but they canceled because of the hurricane that was in the area? Oh, I thought it was part of the course change.
No, that's not a permanent thing.
Okay.
Yeah, they just X'd the last leg and ended at the second to last
That would
transition.
explain why the van had one less square under Denise's name.
They shared a square.
We made a combined square. So her and I ran
did
the
see
last
that, yes.
leg. It was actually really nice to have someone to run with that last leg. And I know that it was probably about halfway through that I kind of said to her, I was like, I'm glad that you're like at the point of no talking too, because I don't know how much I could actually sustain talking right now. But it was just nice to have that person next to you where it's like, okay, yeah, we're going to do this and we're going to do it together. And my legs hurt a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was a lot at that point.
I did have to yell at Denise as we were coming in because she was picking up her pace, and I looked at my watch and I was like, 8:23. I can't, I know that it's only 200 meters left, but I can't keep an 8:23 right now.
Well, good thing you guys, I got up to you and I'm like, I'm wearing my flip-flops. I can't keep that pace either. Like, we were going to finish as a team. So I was like, you slow it down.
Well, I'm really pumped you guys had a great time. I'm sharing a photo now of the medals, and I thought this was super cool last year that all the medals connect and show a map or something, and it looks like there was an ultra. It looks like there was a medals just for the ultra teams too. So I thought that was super cool.
I actually think it might be the same medals, but we had a different ribbon. So the Ultra had like blue everything.
But the map is completed fully on it.
There I've actually seen like the 12-person one, and those are included in there somewhere. So I think it connects on like either side for other stuff. So we get like half of the medals.
So tell me who got what medal here.
I'm actually curious to hear this too, because I got promised a story behind these medals.
There was a lot of talk behind it, but who wants to go first?
Well, I think mine was the most straightforward because I got the captain.
That is true. Yes.
Yeah.
Hers was
so
obvious.
that one was easy.
All right, you're gonna have to.
Next year, will you put a C on your shirt for captain?
Sure.
Ooh,
I'll
I
make
like
her
that.
one. I can't really tell what's what from here, but I can tell you
The
which.
next one's professional napper, napper, right?
Professional napper.
Let's let the professional napper talk about it.
That was me. I think you've already heard that story.
And you're very
I'd
good
like to
at
sleep.
sleeping.
There was a point in time during the race. I don't know how early it was, but it was just Denise and I in the van. She's curled up with like 3 pillows, a blanket. She had a white noise thing going on back there,
I need pictures.
and so I was
packed all that
talking
in a tiny
Oh,
bag.
you guys, a white noise machine. That's a genius idea. I can never sleep in pure like silence. So white noise anything it would be good to have. So
Chip bags doesn't work for you?
well, I
Yeah,
wasn't
works fine for
sleeping
me.
when you guys were eating that stuff, so I was fine with it.
Which, speaking of, your medal was the opposite of Denise. What was yours?
I'm trying to look. Never
Never
tired.
tired?
Never
Yep,
tired.
I got a solid 40 minutes of sleep through that whole thing. Yeah, I woke up I was up at 6:30 on Friday morning, and I didn't sleep like besides 40 minutes. I didn't sleep again until 10 p.m. on Saturday night. I rallied.
I think it was Erika and I up in the group chat that night.
Yeah, because you were texting like pictures of you at the wedding, and I was like, woohoo! Yeah, I'm surprised you went that long. That's crazy.
So now let me hear the story of what medal Eric got. E2 here. Does he know yet what medal he's going to get?
Yeah, I got my medal. I got
Okay.
overachiever, but I wasn't at the finish line, so I'm curious about the story myself.
Well, you were
So
just going
it
balls to the
really-
wall, right? That was mine. I was like, yeah, he gets this for
Yeah.
freaking crushing this thing.
So it really came down to we were looking at the medals that we had, and it was one of those where we were like, oh, team hero, like Eric drove a lot. That makes sense. And then we were like, ooh, but overachiever. Eric is definitely an overachiever and definitely was focused on trying to push that pace. So we were like, well, Jay also drove a lot. So let's give Jay team hero, and therefore Eric is overachiever, because clearly the enthusiast is Rachel.
Very obvious reasons. Her and her outfits just like knocked it out of the park.
Well, that was awesome. Thanks everyone for jumping on. We have some experienced podcasters. You're talking about investing in things earlier. I think you just need to invest in podcast microphones and headphones, Denise and Karen. I think Eric already has it figured out because this is not Eric's first podcast. It's just his first time on the pod. So
You don't like my headphones?
I do.
we love them.
You got a fan.
They have rhinestones.
Even better.
Oh, I do
Are you going to
have.
return them tomorrow on Amazon?
Yeah,
I
definitely don't
am
return
keeping these for my work meetings tomorrow. Thank you very much.
I love it. I love it.
I do have a question for the team because this came up in my life this evening as I was crushing a cinnamon roll, saying,
Which were delicious.
I'm still, I go, quote unquote, to Kate, I raced this weekend. I'm still calorie deficient. And this, like, how long can you use that excuse after reach the beach? Because I'm trying to stretch this.
You're asking the wrong person because I eat shit like 90% of the time. If I can get like a serving of vegetables a day, I count that as a win. So everybody else, you
Forever.
tell.
If you need
Forever.
me to send Kate a message that I'm still eating Oreos, I can, if that will help your case. And
I feel
I
much better.
ate my second cinnamon roll yesterday. Was yesterday the day that we got that back? Yeah, I ate it yesterday afternoon. So
it didn't
I
even
think
make
you're
it the
okay.
night.
No.
Those cinnamon rolls are good.
Well, guys, thanks for coming on. Thanks for doing this. This is fun. I know Erica was like, "Oh, this is going to be so much better than me having to remember
Honestly,
everything."
it's a
This is-
burden. So this was so much fun.
These just came out. I want to show you guys this. I just picked these up. I know a couple of you might have put in an order. Eric, sorry you didn't get the opportunity. You didn't know about us yet, but we've been around for a while, and it's about time we finally made some T-shirts.
I saw you wearing that shirt.
I like that you're
Check.
holding it up. You're wearing it. Yeah.
Yes, I know, but it's a podcast.
I was saying I wish I had it
Yeah, I know.
for this
No,
weekend.
look how sweet these are.
Wait a minute, is
Yeah,
the one
it's
you're
awesome.
wearing more blue?
It is. I will explain that story on another pod because this is going long.
Okay.
This is an extra. It's actually a complete different material, and it was a bonus T-shirt he gave me.
Well, I like that color.
I'm pretty pumped about it. Well, it's mine.
Yeah, I'd like a shirt, but only the one that you're wearing.
Make me one on your cricket.
Well, we're gonna have more and maybe some hoodies sometime, but this is a growing thing and it is happening. It is happening. But guys, we've gone long. Eric and I still have to do the intro for 74
Fuck.
and the outro. She hasn't had dinner yet.
I've had to pee for 45 minutes.
It is 10:12 p.m. on Monday
I
night.
do it for you guys.
and
Much love.
We started at 6:45 this evening with our other guest for October. So this has been a blast. Listen, thank you, Karen, and thank you, Denise, for both being huge, major parts of the podcast. Denise, this is, I think, the first time you're not a guinea pig.
That's great. We still didn't have a plan, but being a guinea pig is always.
We have 5 of us here on the screen. We've never had this. So, we just need to have another episode for you one day. Let's do it in 2024 and we can talk all about you again and get to know you better. We know you well, but we have so many. No one goes back to episode 6. So we need to give you episode 106.
Well, I'm going to sign off so that Erika can go and pee and get some
Love
dinner.
you guys.
Love you too. This has been fun.
This was a blast. I appreciate you guys coming on and recapping because it was like a blur. It went by so fast, but so slow during some points. But I mean, I really can't wait until next year. So I hope that I don't have to wait until next year to see you guys. But I'm looking forward to it.
We'll find reasons to.
More penguin parties.
All right. Well, that's it. Erika, you got to take us away, guys. Don't forget, follow us on the gram. Check out our YouTube. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel as we're growing it. And we'll have more T-shirts another time later. But for everyone who put in an order, look for a message from me in the next week. So we'll get those out to you. Erika, take us home.
Thank you guys for sticking with us for this awesome Reach the Beach recap. We love you. And don't forget to stretch.
3, 2, 1.
I'm back and everyone is recording. Yeah. Keep going.
Where were we? You derailed it. Karen.
I was just talking about what I was going to do with my new podcast show.
I feel like Eric and I vibe too. Like it's, I don't know. We got to think of.
Easy transition.
Here we go. Hey. I don't need to learn a new name. We're
fine.
Perfect.
Erika can do all the Instagram stuff then and all the social media posts and the editing.
She did so well.